Paula, welcome in everybody. Oops, got a visitor. Welcome in, welcome in. As we're coming in, a little bit of Natalie playing to put us in the mood. And what I'd love to do, just as we're coming in, I would love for us to do a baseline. We're going to be doing a number of practices today that are really going to be nourishing to our nervous system. And so I'd love for us to start with, how does my mind and body feel right now? And so how we're going to just really scale that, if we first look at our thoughts, so what's happening in our mind, and from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm just feeling very slow, it's been just a crazy day and I'm just kind of spent, 10 being really racing thoughts, and 5 being the optimal state, feeling really, really present. Where are you? And then similarly with your energy. So really tuning in and measuring your body's energy. And from a 1 to 10, 1 would be extreme exhaustion. You're just fried, not much left in the tank. And then a 10 would be extreme restlessness. So maybe something's just happened and you come in feeling really frazzled and hyperactive, and a 5 being optimal. So 1 to 10 thoughts and another 1 to 10 energy. Where are you as you're coming into our space? And just popping that in the chat. Just so lovely to be here with you all. Linda's at a 7. As I'm sort of coming in, I was at a 5 and then took a sip of water. It went down the wrong way. And my thoughts like literally went up like, oh my gosh, am I going to have a coughing attack? I'm just still recovering from COVID. And so Maria's a 6 for thoughts, a 7 for energy. Nat's a 6 for thoughts, a 7 for energy. Steph is a 8 for thoughts, a 6 for energy. And so just coming in, and as we just really prepare to open up our space together, I'd like to just start off with a land acknowledgement, and just to really begin our time together today with an opportunity to reflect on the unique connections and relationships that Indigenous people and their ancestors have had on this place for thousands of years as stewards of the land. And I'm feeling really grateful to live, work and play in Toronto, which is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, Métis peoples. And I also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaties signed with multiple Mississaugas and the Chippewa Band. So I'm just really thrilled to have you with us. Some of you I know well, others I think I'm meeting for the first time. And perhaps to just quickly introduce myself, my name's Lisa Burchartz. I've been an activator since 2020. My previous life, I was a corporate human resources business partner. I went through a really significant burnout and health crisis about 6 years ago, and have, through a series of, I guess, synchronicities, moved from executive coaching into certifying as a somatic stress release practitioner and mindfulness guide. And I have a real focus on self-reconnection, post-traumatic growth, and nervous system empowerment. So that's my jam. And I just love helping our community members and my clients reclaim their strengths and resources and just thrive in all areas of life. And so you'll hear that my voice is a little strained. I tested positive for COVID 9 days ago. I'm doing really well. And other than tonight, I actually have been nourishing and nurturing myself. And when I tuned in today, it just really felt nourishing to be here. And so I just want to thank you for coming in. And so there are many, many places that you could have all chosen to be. And I want to really just acknowledge as we're coming into our space together today, that during the holiday season, there are many different things happening that can really take us out of nervous system regulation. Our social calendars are busier. We have limited downtime. There's more planning and logistical pressures, shopping and financial stress of the holidays and giving, the changes to our diet and maybe alcohol consumption. And, emotional challenges. Some of us are also faced with separation and grief or conflict and loneliness at this time of year. And there's often no way of avoiding these stresses. And that's what we're really here today, to just really focus on what is nourishing in our lives and to really lessen the impact that these stresses have on our nervous system and our life. Because our flexible, resilient nervous system is really one that we can bring back to a normal baseline after we've been exposed to stressful events. And so I'm especially thrilled to be here with you, because there's never been, I think, in my opinion anyway, a more needed time to reconnect and to return to our bodies than right now. But, perhaps if you're like me, I certainly didn't have a role model or anyone to teach me how to consciously inhabit my body and to really mirror that type of connection for me until my body literally started speaking up for me and I lost my health. And so disconnecting from our body, what it certainly meant for me and tends to mean for others, is that we disconnect from our limits, our natural rhythms, our intuition, our boundaries and our needs. And this disconnection that I'm referring to is mainly a disconnection from the sensory, instinctual and emotional body and experience. And it's really due to our nervous system's inability to process survival energy and emotional residues from the past. And so when this is the case, we have neuroplasticity. And it's really just an invitation to give ourselves more support, more patience, attunement, and corrective experiences. And so what I would love to do before we go into any slides, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what to expect, what you'll need for tonight, we're going to kick off with a practice. And this is going to be a deep relaxation practice, one that my somatic teacher, Lynn Fraser, who I turn to for support with burnout recovery, taught me. And what it's traditionally done in Shavasana, so laying down. However, I want to just invite you to tune in and to notice where you're at. And this can also be done, sitting up and just being supported. But just take a moment to bring in, if you'd like, maybe like a blanket. I keep my beautiful hand knitted shawl that my retreat partner Shauna made for me, maybe a pillow, just for a moment, just sort of like think about what will bring in the maximum amount of comfort for you. And what we're really going to be doing, this is called, Lynn really titled this as the deep body, the body scan, deep relaxation and extended exhale. And so when I first got sick, she took us through this and it just felt so beautiful. And I actually changed the exercise that I was going to do with you today so that I could share. And so just grab whatever you need to come into the practice and just check in. What's your experience right now in your entire mind body, in your soma? And so one of the reasons that it's good to check in is so that we know what's happening inside of us, of course. But it gives us that firsthand evidence that things change. And so today, you might be feeling restless with some looping thoughts. Maybe you're more at a 7. On another day, you might be feeling more of a 3. You may be more tired and shut down. But it's often along a bit of a theme song. We have a lot of continuity in how we feel. And it changes in big ways and small ways as we go from moment to moment, day to day, and year to year. And one of the benefits of this somatic mindfulness of just checking in with ourselves is that we experience the nervous system on a non-verbal level. So it's one thing for us to say, oh yeah, I know my emotions change, things come and go. And it's another thing to tune in day after day and say, okay, today it's a little bit more like this. I'm feeling more calm and in a connection than usual. Or it might be, hey, it's going to be one of those days where I just really have to keep coming back as my mind feels a bit obsessed with something. And so all of those are normal conditions of the mind and the whole mind body. So we don't have to worry about them. And it's good to just check in and know what's happening. And so getting comfortable in your space and just recognizing a lot of the science around taking in our good experiences from neuropsychologists like Rick Hanson is that we really want to take at least 20 or 30 seconds to pay attention to what is good. So Deb Dana calls these our glimmers. So when we maybe experience that feeling of more openness in the heart or expansion in the breath, because we often forget that it happens or we don't notice. Those positive experiences don't register in our brain unless we focus in on them. The negative ones register because that's part of our survival system. So we don't need to focus on those, even though that's where our mind almost always goes to. And so this practice is partly a retraining. So we just simply start by noticing what's here. And then we train ourselves to be here and present. And so getting really comfortable and just start with the body and notice the whole of your body from head to toes. And this is the time when we can soften some of the obvious tension. And so if you maybe have your shoulders up around your ears, if you're clenching your teeth, whatever that might be, these habits in our body, we just usually know where we habitually hold our tension, and just go to that place and let it soften. And as you're aware of your whole body from head to toes, notice in particular the back of your body. And this is one of the ways we bring our attention in from all the forward moving, all the forward scanning and being pulled towards our screens. We tune into the back of the body because it helps us come back into the moment. And just notice how you're being supported. If you're lying down, you'll be supported through the whole of your back body. Maybe allow yourself to just sink in and be supported, just even 1% more. Or if you're sitting up, what's supporting you is your structure, your bones, your muscles. And just see if you can get into a position where you're comfortable. Comfort is queen. And where you can breathe so that you're not slumped over. We're just going to need enough length through your back so that you can let your diaphragm move. And other than that, there's no real right or wrong way to do this. Just getting into a position that's comfortable. And if you need to bring in anything to help you stay warmer, whether it's a cushion under your knees, whatever that might be, just take a moment to do that now. And bringing attention to the back of your neck, where the back of the head meets the neck. Scanning to the sides of your neck, the top of your shoulders, the back of your shoulder joints, the back of your arms. Bringing attention to those large muscles in the upper back from the neck, down through to the ones that cover the shoulder blades that operate the arms. And as we tune into that part of the upper body, one of the things we might notice is it okay to let the arms be still? Sometimes the arms and hands have a movement and an energy of restlessness. And if that's the case for you, that's okay. Just let it be what it is. And notice if you might like to stretch or shake or do something to kind of wiggle out the wigglies. And then just let yourself come back into stillness and allow your large muscles of the upper back to just go off duty. And so this is where we often hold our tension in our neck, and our shoulders, or our upper back. And as you're taking some breaths, just notice the natural softening that happens on the exhalation. And so as you come down through the upper back, into the mid back, behind your heart center, you might notice if there's energy or sensations around the heart center. Noticing the chest, the rib cage, the mid part of your lower chest, and then bringing your attention down through your lower back, your buttocks, the back of your thighs, the calves, heels, and the bottom of your feet. And just like we did with the arms, notice if there's any restlessness. Our legs are often preparing for action, but we don't need them to do that right now. So we can just signal to our whole body mind that it's safe to go off duty by just letting our arms and our legs relax. Being aware that we can't talk ourselves into this. This is something that happens as we're starting to settle into our body. And so notice your breath here. Ideally, we're breathing diaphragmatically. And so if you bring your attention around the stomach area, navel center and lower belly, just notice the movement of that part of the body with the breath. What it feels like when we're breathing diaphragmatically is the belly softens as we breathe out. And it settles back towards the spine. Notice the pace of the breath. Generally, as our body gets into a state of stillness, the breath becomes smoother, more continuous. And we also have a habit of holding our breath. And this is caused by stress and anxiety. And it can be a really decades-long habit as well. And so recognizing that these kinds of long-standing habits don't automatically change. But when we bring our awareness to them, which is what we really want to do, our body wants to breathe in a healthy, deep way. And so let your breath be in your awareness. Let your breath be continuous. If you have a habit of holding your breath, like I did, just let that go for a bit. And then bring your awareness to the whole of your front body now. Starting from the navel center, going up, and then down. Just starting from your legs, and then noticing the large muscles of your thighs, your knees and shins, your ankles, feet and toes. And again, if it feels right to do so, you could shake or stretch, or just let the relative state of ease be in your mind. As you let your awareness just really soften your mind and let your legs be more at rest. And notice the front of your arms as well. From your shoulders down through the front of your arms. Noticing the back of your arms too. Are they resting comfortably? The palms of your hands, your fingers, fingertips. And then bring your awareness up to the forehead and the eyebrows. We hold a lot of communication muscles here. And sometimes we have a lot of tension here as well. So you could bring your forehead muscles up, raise your eyebrows up, and then let them soften as you breathe out. And then as you breathe in, keep your attention here, behind your eyebrow center. And as we're bringing in the breath of awareness, you might notice sensations in your nose. And as you breathe in and out, there is the coolness of the inhale and the warmth of the exhale. And so that you're aware of the whole top part of your face or head, your eyebrows, even your eyeballs, allowing them to really rest into your sockets. And if your breath has come to a point of ease and it's feeling fairly continuous, you might want to start allowing a longer exhale. So if you're breathing in for 3 or 4, you might breathe out for 5, 6, 7, or even 8. Whatever's comfortable. And also, as you're breathing in, bring in a little more air. And that allows us to have a longer exhale as well. And really activates our parasympathetic, our rest and digest state of being. Not squeezing the muscles of your stomach, just allowing the muscles to soften. And letting your belly come back towards your spine. And then just allowing yourself to breathe in. Letting the exhalation happen. And allowing your body to soften with each exhale. So noticing again what's happening in your forehead and eyebrows, your eyes, and right behind your eyeballs. And just noticing how long you can maintain your awareness there. Perhaps a couple of breaths. Depending on how settled the mind is, it might be difficult to stay very quiet in the mind. It might be off thinking about things or ruminating or predicting, like that part of the mind does. But as you're focusing on the softening of the forehead muscles, the eyebrows and the eyes, sometimes we notice we have a little bit more space in between our thoughts. Exhale and soften through the forehead. Inhale and keep your attention right there so that it doesn't give room for thoughts to sneak in. And then exhale. Let it soften some more. Inhale and pay attention. It's natural for thoughts to be present. Our practice is to just let them move to the background so that we're not really focusing on them right now. And then bringing your awareness down to your mouth and your jaw, your throat and your tongue. One of the most obvious things is if you're clenching your teeth. You could just roll your lower jaw around a little. Loosen up the hinges of your jaw. Imagine opening your jaw from your back molars. And then as you bring your jaw back to resting, leave a little bit of space between your upper and lower teeth so that you're not going to be back to clenching it again right away. And clenching the jaw, the teeth, and the mouth is very common. And it's part of what responds to the chaos in the mind, and it's part of what contributes to it. So just see if you can relax your jaw. Let your tongue rest on the roof of your mouth. Let your vocal cords be still so that you're not sub-vocalizing thoughts. And that can just really help to settle the mind. There's nothing we need to say or hold back right now. And we can just let our faculty of speech be at rest. And this really helps our mind, and to let our thoughts have a little bit more space between them and a little less interest in them. Notice your breath. Let your breath be at least equal and continuous. Just having ease in the breath and letting your body soften. And then just coming back to soften the muscles of the chest. And as you're focusing on the chest, you might also notice if there's something going on in the heart center. You may have emotion or sensations there. Just noticing any feelings. And just also notice the movement of our body as we're breathing. So we're coming down towards the lower rib cage, where the diaphragm muscle is moving. The stomach area, the navel center, the lower belly. Now just focusing a little bit of our attention on the whole of our body, from head to toes. And almost all of the attention on the breath right now. Noticing the rhythm and the movement of your body as you breathe. Notice if your breath might have gotten smoother. And if this unconscious habit of holding the breath is maybe counterbalanced. And just anchoring your mind in the continuity of the breath, softening the stomach muscles, and just letting that exhalation continue a little bit longer. So that when we go to breathe in, those muscles are a little bit more pliable and we can breathe in more easily. Just letting your body do its thing. It knows how to relax. Your body knows how to breathe. And just noticing the whole of your body again. Your forehead, eyebrows. It's pretty common for a little bit of tension to build back into the body if we take attention away from that. And we're going to finish the practice in a moment. And just tune in again to the breath in the belly. And you could start maybe with your eyes still closed. Maybe making some movements with your fingers. Wiggling your toes. Bringing in a little bit of movement into your body. And just turning up the corners of your mouth just a little bit. And if you're lying down, take some time to come up over onto your left side. Support your head and bend your knees. And then focus on the flow of air in your right nostril. This is the more activating solar energy. You can do that even by maybe just closing your left nostril. Notice what it feels like to breathe in through the right nostril. And when you're ready, take a final stretch. Notice if there's any movement that feels nourishing for your nervous system. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and just come back in. And so I would love to invite you to just take a moment to maybe journal while it's fresh in your mind what you experienced, and just to give ourselves a minute or two of journaling. And I'm just going to pull up a couple of little journal prompts here, and then we will see how. There we go. Yay, I can do this. I can do hard things. So maybe just checking in, just writing, how was that for you? Maybe what is your baseline now? Has anything shifted? Maybe how easy or uncomfortable was it to maintain contact with your body? Maybe what messages did your body reveal to you? And were there any parts that asked for more connection and care? I'll just give you a minute to write that down. And just notice, what was your experience? And so as we're doing that, this gentle shift from relating to your body from the outside in, and attuning toward your body and how it's experienced life in the moment, is how we break the pattern of always being in our mind, of thinking, of ruminating, analyzing, or disconnecting. And so if we're not listening to our body's needs, even the really simple ones like I need to stretch, rest, sleep, or connect with other nervous systems, it can create a sense of overwhelm in the nervous system and the body. And so we start to restore trust through embodied, confirming experiences that contradict our past experiences. And so every time we turn towards our body turns towards us, and a new connection is made. And so just really tuning in. What did you notice? What's your baseline now? Beautiful. And so we're a really lovely, intimate little group this evening. And so now that we've connected with our inner experience, our inner landscape, I'd love in a minute just to provide us with an opportunity to connect with each other, and to maybe just share whatever feels comfortable for you. Maybe break into pairs. And we'll just keep it short. There's some other practices that we can work together as a group, but be just like popping into pairs and sharing, how was that for you? How easy or comfortable was it? And maybe, you know, what is something that you can do for yourself to bring care to the parts that were speaking to you? And maybe just giving each other maybe 3 minutes each, and we'll come back in 6 minutes. And of course, you're always at choice. If you don't want to go into the breakout rooms, that's okay as well. But I would really encourage you just to take that opportunity for connection. I think I was supposed to select something there, Nat, and I didn't.
You're okay. I am going to open the breakout rooms now, and you will have about 6 minutes to enjoy. We'll see you back here soon.
Bye. Welcome back. I hope you found your discussion as nourishing and wonderful as I did. Thank you so much, Kushla. That was such an incredible exchange. And I'm looking at the faces here. I'm seeing a lot of smiles, which is just so gorgeous. And so I want to maybe just invite you to pop in the chat anything that you'd like to share. And we have just a few more minutes together, and I would love to, I'm just going to maybe bring up, I did a whole slide deck, but it just felt like spending more time in connection was what we needed tonight. So I'm one to often go off script and just let spirit lead us wherever spirit wants to lead us. Let me just see here. I'm never very good at playing from our current slide here. Okay, beautiful. And so one of the practices, so my teacher, Lynn Fraser, and I are both students of polyvagal theory, and it's really the science of feeling safe enough to fall in love with life and really take the risks of living again after we've experienced that big event, whether that's been the health crisis, that shift in our experience. And so just run through here. One of the things that we really connect to in this practice is the vagus nerve. And so often, when we're stressed, our vagus nerve goes offline. Actually, somebody might need to be there, a little bit of background noise. And so I wanted just to bring a quick sort of practice of bringing awareness to this amazing vagus nerve. And you can just sort of see this wandering nerve. I don't know, how many of you are familiar with the vagus nerve and have actually seen a picture of it before, right? So what we're doing whenever we go into a body scan, we're improving our vagal tone. And this vagus nerve is really, it's the epicenter of our mind-body connection, and it controls our autonomic nervous system. And what we know is that a healthy system isn't always calm, right? It's flexible and resilient. And it's this key, it's the communicator between our brain, our heart, and our gut, and it impacts our digestion. It's involved in our intuition. And what I've come to really realize is that when it's working properly, it plays an anti-inflammatory role, which has been so important to my own recovery from burnout. see here. And so what I'll just maybe do is just sort of like really bring us into connection, because we like to, when we sort of look at the vagus nerve, we think of it as one nerve, but we actually have all 12 of our cranial nerves come in pairs. And so it's the right side of the vagus nerve that connects to the heart and forms the vagal brake. And then it travels down the heart, the throat, our lungs, into the heart and our abdomen. And so maybe just start by putting your left hand on the back of your neck. And with your right hand, we're just going to trace the pathway of the vagus. And so just putting it on our face here, and then moving the right hand down the side of the neck, down our throat, our lungs, our heart, and right into our abdomen. Maybe just imagine, sense energy moving up and down this pathway. And just the information, just sensing this information being carried along this vagal pathway in two directions, with 80% going from the body to the brain and 20% to the brain to the body. And so we know that when we're disconnected from our bodies, we're disconnecting from the ability to tune into this important pathway. And that in fact affects our breath, our posture. And so bottom-up processing is really, really good for our survival brain. And this brings us into our present moment awareness. And so we'll maybe just do a quick exercise, and then we'll put it open for any comments or announcements. But one of the things, I don't know if you can relate, but even now with my dedicated practice, I still have fear-based thoughts, right? We all do. And so this is connected to our sympathetic nervous system. And especially if they're fast and they're chaotic and they're jumping from one to the next. And so things that really come up into my experience will be, you know, whenever like I'm stretched out of my comfort zone into something greater, it'll be like, oh, I'm going to fail, something really bad will happen, and my hypervigilance will kick in. And so what tends to happen is that I can get pulled into this black and white thinking of people as being bad or wrong. And I'm often left with the feeling that there's just not enough time. And so when we're in this fight or flight sympathetic state, it might just really help you to slow down. And then an exercise when we notice ourselves with racing thoughts, and we can try this now, is to just to bring ourselves into the present mode of look around the room and notice the things around you, because this will down-regulate your nervous system. So let's try it out now. And just notice where your eyes would like to go. Look. And then allow your head to just move and follow. And so this engages the vagus nerve, but also the oculomotor nerve. And this nerve helps to constrict the pupil, which makes it appear smaller. And so when we're in fight or flight, our pupils dilate. And so when we're in that state, tracking really helps us. And we just very slowly notice where our eyes would like to go. I'm looking at the lamp right now. My eyes are now going to a picture, and then just slowly allow your head to follow. And then just notice how that feels in your system the next time that you're feeling activated and in a state of fight or flight. And so similarly with our shame-based or dorsal, the freeze, you know, these are thoughts of like, whatever I do is powerless, it's hopeless. You know, when we've experienced like real rejection, or perhaps, you know, we're going into like a toxic work situation and we're not able to avoid different people. one of the exercises, and I'll send out the deck and leave this with you, so we just have a few minutes to close off. But when we're coming out of freeze, we need to get some activation. And so this is when we can practice pushing our legs and meeting the resistance and holding that for 10 minutes. So I wanted just to leave those practices with you. And I can't believe how quickly the time has gone. You've been so incredibly gracious. And, just I think this beautiful reminder that our nervous system is here to keep us safe. It has a history. Our primitive brain has a negativity bias. And so having a resilient nervous system just means that we move up and down the ladder with more grace and space. And so, one of the things that we can really do as we're going away and back into our lives is to just really think about, like, having a bit of an inquiry. What are my glimmers? What are the people, the situations that bring me back to a place of ventral vagal regulation? And so you can see for me, my beautiful friends, I like when I'm feeling I'm spinning, I call Melissa or Catherine or Melanie Love, and spending time in nature and my meditation practice. And so I want to just encourage you, as we're going away, just really reflecting on what brings me back. And so I'd love to just thank you so much for coming. And maybe we'll just sort of like close off with some invitations, some comments. I'm just so grateful. There are so many places you could have been tonight and you chose to come and join me. And I'm just really thankful. One of the things that we'll do, and actually, Nat, do you mind popping the announcements and the link to the deck? Oh, you've already done it. Of course you have. You're so amazing. Thank you, Anne-Marie. My fellow activators, Melissa Burns and Dr. Catherine Hanson, I've been part of their, when I was going through burnout, and they actually brought me into Coralus. I'm so thankful for that invitation, but I've been part of their Empowered Women's Circle for a couple of years. And these are beautiful people in my life who believed in me and supported me even when I was struggling to really, trust myself. And so they've opened up our little circle on the 15th. And so if it serves you and you'd love to spend some time with other amazing activators, Catherine is an incredible obstetrician and supports women going through midlife. So there's just some, it's just beautiful to be in company with them. So if you'd like to join us, come. And my incredible meditation teacher, Lynn, who's just taught me what it means to be generous, offers a daily somatic mindfulness practice. It's completely free. She's retired and she just loves being able to provide people with opportunities to connect in. And I've got some links for how you can connect with me. And so I just, thank you so much. I know we're at time, and I wish I had more time with all of you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for the lovely comments, and thank you for your grace and coming along.
Thank you, Lisa, for running this for us. I know I came in at a 7, maybe higher, and I'm certainly leaving feeling more relaxed, more grounded, and more in tune with where I'm at today. So I'm hoping the same is true for everyone else. Thank you all for joining us. If you want to do it again tomorrow, for those of you who are in North America, Lisa will be doing this again. And if not, I hope to see you all next week on our year in review call.
We'll be there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cookie too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Lisa. You are
You know.